Hello friends, I am Abhishek Shrivastava and welcome to this new series Crash Course on the Medieval Indian History. And let's talk about this age of three empires, and in this session we'll only talk about Palas. Okay, so this is something about me. So what happened in the end of the ancient history? Okay, let's recall that, or let's try to know that. In the end of the ancient history, the ruler was Harsha in the south, and in the north there were Chalukyas and the Pallavas. Okay, and in the same time around 600 to 630 or 620 to 632, Prophet Muhammad came into scene and he started preaching Islam. So he brought this new idea of Islam, which started into the deserts of Arab and then propagated towards eastern side and even came to India. Okay, so in the north there were Harsha, and in the north this is Thanesar, and here Harsha was ruling. So whole of this area was under the Harsha. In the south there were two important kingdoms, Chalukya and Pallavas. Okay, this is the scenario in the end of the ancient India, and Prophet Muhammad brought Islam. Okay, so let's proceed. After that there will be this Palas, Rashtrakutas and Pratiharas. So we'll discuss about them. Okay, so this is the age of actually three empires, Palas, Pratiharas and Rashtrakutas. What time it is? This is around 750 to 1000. 750 to 1000, these three are dominating in the northern areas. Okay, Rashtrakutas is into Deccan, Palas is into eastern side, Magad side, and Gurjar Pratiharas, they are from Gujarat, Rajasthan. Okay, and they are dominating in whole of this area. Okay, so let's talk about them. So now I have made a comparative study of Palas, Gurjar, Pratiharas and Rashtrakutas, because if I tell you separately, everything will get mixed and you will not understand anything. Okay, so let's compare them and then we'll understand. So let's talk about Palas first. So Palas, this dynasty was established in 750 AD. Gopala was the founder. Okay, and in the same time Rashtrakutas would be established, but Gurjar Pratiharas are not established yet. Okay, they are there, Gurjar Pratiharas are there, but there is nothing like a dynasty or nothing like a, you cannot trace rulers over there. Okay, so this prominence of Gurjar Pratiharas was not there. So it all started with Gopala. Then what happened with Dharampal? Okay, we'll talk about Dharampal later. Let's proceed. So this was age of three empires. Pala empires, okay, dominated in 850s. Pratihara empire, it dominated in 950s, and Rashtrakutas were dominating in Deccan in whole of this time. So time is this 250 years, 750 to 1000. Okay, so this is a tripartite struggle. Why we are calling it a tripartite struggle? Because they all are fighting here for Kannauj. Now Kannauj is considered to be very rich, and the one who controls Kannauj actually controls Indian subcontinent. Okay, why? Actually, Kannauj has a hinterland of very rich resources. It is into Ganga plains and fertile areas there. Agriculture production is very high. Population density is high. Then it is very close to this trade route. So in all these things together make Kannauj very, very important. Same thing, after that same position will be occupied by the Delhi. Same importance as we understand of Delhi today, or at the time of Delhi Sultans, same importance was of Kannauj in this 250 years. So they were fighting for the Kannauj, but the main fighters were Rashtrakutas. They are very, very smart warriors. They go and plunder Kannauj, they loot it, and then they bring it, they come back. Okay, they do not rule Kannauj. Okay, so there was this struggle going on. Okay, so let's get back to Palas. So Gopala was the founder. One of the time what happened, let's see this Dhruv here. Okay, we'll not talk about Dhruv much, but Dhruv is the one who defeats Pratiharas, Gurjaras, okay, defeats at Kannauj, but do not occupies Kannauj and come back to Deccan. Okay, he do not occupy it, he leaves it, and he even defeats Dharampala over there. But since he has not occupied Kannauj, okay, so he will come back. So this is the time when Dharampala will occupy Kannauj. Okay, for a very short time, Dharampala will occupy Kannauj. He will conduct a grand darbar over there. Okay, but very soon Nagbhatta will rise. He will defeat Dharampala and he would be bound to retreat back towards east, towards Magad. Okay, but he would be defeated here and would be succeeded by his son Devpala. Okay, so let's see how this happens. So this dynasty founded by Gopala in 750 AD. Okay, so in this area actually there was no other ruler. Okay, so there they elected Pala or Gopala Gopala as the king, and from here in Magad area he starts his dynasty. Now he starts with a very small area, but then see, Magad is also a very fertile land, plus there is a Chota Nagpur plateau. You have a very good metallurgy, okay, you have resources of metal, so there they started growing. So Magad was always important. Then he was succeeded by his son Dharampal. Now please remember this Dharampal, very important. Dharampal revived Nalanda University, okay, revived, not founded, revived Nalanda University and separated 200 villages for the upkeep of this university. Then he also found Vikramshila University. Now this is found, he found Vikramshila University. Both these universities became seat of education. Okay, Vikramshila would be treated as second and Nalanda would be treated as first. Then he patronized Buddhism a lot. Okay, so these two places also became seat of Buddhist monks coming and learning. Okay, so you can see that Buddhism was also, again, Magad is the land of Buddhism. Okay, so in this area Buddhism is again patronized and again it's being revived. Okay, then as we have said, he was defeated by Dhruv. Okay, but Dhruv returned to Kannauj, Dhruv returned to Deccan, and then Dharampal occupied Kannauj for some time. But again, he carried out his grand darbar over Kannauj. But again, he was defeated by Nagbhatta and he had to retreat and was defeated. Okay, he was succeeded by his son Dharampal. Now Dharampal knew that he tried, but he could not succeed this way. He cannot go to Kannauj and fight. So what he did, he thought that now he should concentrate all his power eastern side. So this was the time they started percolating the eastern areas. They attacked Pragjotishpur. Now Pragjotishpur is actually Assam. Okay, they even conquered a large area of Orissa. So thus they extended their empire, their control much towards east side. Now Nepal at that time, is very powerful, especially into this area, and they had a good relationship with the southeast nations. So Shailendra dynasty is actually the ruler of Java, Sumatra and Indonesia. So he had to take the permission of the Devpala so that he can build a monastery over Nalanda. Okay, so he had a good trade relationship with them, he had a good cultural relationship with them, diplomacy, trade, etc. they had there. Okay, so how we come to know so much about Palas? Now, information about Palas is first account is from Suleiman. Suleiman is an Arab merchant who came at that time and he wrote an account. Actually, he tells us that Pala had a very strong army. A lot number of elephants were there. A lot number of men were there. They have so many of men that they had 10,000 to 15,000 of men just to wash the clothes of the army of the Palas. Okay, so from there we come to know that yes, there was a very huge army. Okay, who used to fight with Pratiharas and Rashtrakutas. Then there are also Tibetan chronicles from where we come to know about Palas. Okay, from there we come to know, actually these Tibetan chronicles are not written in the time of the Pala. They have been written in the time of 17th century somewhere. Okay, so from these Tibetan chronicles there is a mention of Palas, from where we come to know about that yes, there were 200 villages kept separately for the Nalanda University. Okay, then there is also mention of two monks called Santarakshita and Dipankar. Dipankar's other name is Atisa. So they were so popular, or Buddhism was so popular, that these two monks were invited from Nalanda to Tibet. From there they were asked to preach Buddhism. Okay, so when they started preaching, there they brought up a new sect of Buddhism. Okay, so that's why Santarakshita and Dipankar Atisa, they are also very important, and this all knowledge we are gaining from Tibetan chronicles. Okay, so one more important thing, see, there are only three rulers important: Gopala, Dharampala and Devpala. After that they were they were not such rulers who could rule. So easy to learn: Gopal, Dharampal and Devpal. See, Dharampal, he is associated with Nalanda University, Vikramshila and Suleiman, while Devpal is associated with Assam, Orissa and Tibetan chronicles. Now there is no such name or no such ruler in between. But again in 11th century, from 1000 to 1025, there is again a ruler called Mahipala who traces from Palas, and he again revives the empire for some time. Okay, not very relevant, not very important, but the last ruler who could revive it okay, or who took the Palas to the 11th century was Mahipala. Okay, so with this, Palas dynasty was ended. Okay, so they started earlier and they ended earlier. Okay, the main important or the most important dynasty was of Rajputas. Okay, so in the next lesson we'll talk about Gurjar Pratiharas and Rajputas and how they were fighting, what all things were important between them. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching, and please do rate, review and recommend these lessons. Share it with your friends and comment if you want to say anything, you feel like saying anything. Okay, so thank you, thanks a lot.